Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today's lesson is about how to give the superhero closing offer to a motivated seller so you can profit big as a real estate investor. So let's dive in and get started, gang. Alright, today's lesson is about how to give an offer to a seller, what I call my superhero closing. Now, I call it the superhero closing is because you're being a hero. You're adding value to people's lives. You're becoming an educator that's going to help the seller understand all their options under the moon and the stars, and being a problem solver. You're not being money hungry, or you're not being a pushy sales guy, or just thinking about you. Okay, and that's why I call it a superhero closing, because what you do is you explain to the seller and add value to the seller all their options they have. So let's go ahead and run through all the options the seller has, and this is how I give an offer to a motivated seller. What I usually do is I explain their option number one, which is basically going with the traditional realtor. And there's a lot of pros with that. Going with a traditional realtor, you're going to get top dollar for your home because the realtor is going to find a retail buyer. Retail buyers going to fall in love with this home, and they're willing to pay top dollars for the property. But the cons of it is that a retail buyer doesn't have their own cash, the house has to pass inspection, etc. So notice that every point that I'm going to make to you guys, you got to go to the seller and not only give them their positive, but also the cons of that offer. Okay, so it's not an offer, it's their option. So the seller has a traditional way to sell their home, and what I just did is I give them their plus and their minuses. Okay, one of the other minuses of selling traditional is that you're going to have to pay 6% realtor commission, which becomes a big chunk of money when you're talking about 200,000 plus homes. Now, the next option the seller has is what I call the revolutionary way to sell the property for the seller. It's called the flat fee MLS. And with the flat fee MLS, what the seller does is has all the power of the marketing and the paperwork of a traditional listing without paying the realtor's commission. So I explained to the seller the revolutionary way to sell their home just the way I do it, and a lot of investors that I know that they use this way is because they're able to sell their home for top dollars without paying the realtor commission. So I explained the pros and the cons of that to the seller. So option number two for the seller is that they can use the flat fee MLS. Now, the next option I bring to the seller is option number three, which is that, hey, Mr. Seller, did you know you could rent your house, get some renters in there for them to pay off your debt while you build equity that allows you to go to the next chapter of your life. So that's the positive aspect of it. And then I also bring the negative aspect of, then you may have to get calls from the renters regarding the restrooms. You might have to pay some vacancy, etc. So again, every option I give to the seller, I always give them the pros and the cons. A couple of pros, a couple of cons, and allow the seller to really understand each idea a lot more than they understood it before they even spoke with me. Okay, so usually when I bring the option with the renter, the sellers will tell me instantly, no, this is not what I want to do. And that's the whole thing, great thing about the superhero closing, is that you're not ever trying to sell or close. You're providing the seller all the options under the moon and the stars, and the seller's going to tell you, hey, well, I don't want to list it with the traditional realtor. Well, I don't want to rent my house out. So you're basically helping the seller come to a conclusion which options are available to him and what he's leaning against, so you can solve their problem. And that's why it's such an easy win-win situation, because you help the seller come up with a conclusion without you coming up with the conclusion for him. Okay, so let's get back to the story. After option number three, which is the rental, I tell the seller, hey seller, I could buy your house with a cash offer, and my cash offer will be X. Okay, And I would explain to the seller the benefit of a cash offer, which is, I could close very quickly. I don't have to wait for a lender. I don't have to ask my partner, my girlfriend, my wife, anything like that. I could pull on the trigger, etc. I could throw some money into a briefcase, head out to the title company, etc. But then I would tell them the negative side effects, which is, I don't buy properties at retail price. I'll buy them at a deep discount, so etc. I give them the positive and the negative. Okay, so that's option number 4. So far we talked about traditional, option number 1, flat fee, option number 2, renting it out, then the cash offer, okay? Now, the next offer is, let's say you're talking to a home seller and they have marginal equity or no equity or negative equity, then what you could talk to them about is what I call the short sell option. Again, a short sell is whenever you go talk to a lender and try to negotiate a lesser amount that is owed on the seller's debt. So let's, for example, the seller owes 100, you go and talk to the bank and negotiate to get the house for 80. So that's an option, which is what I call option number 5. Now, I don't give option number 5 unless they're behind on payments, unless they have negative equity, marginal equity, or zero equity. Okay, guys? So you don't have to bring the number 5 out if they're not in that situation. Now, the next option that I bring to the seller is the terms, okay? And basically the terms is where I buy the property subject to or a wrap scenario, okay? And now, it's very important that whenever you talk about terms, you don't use the word owner financing. For some reason, when you use the word owner financing, some signal goes into the seller's mind like ding, 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 ching, 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 and they're just thinking about money. Like they're going to get paid out a lot of money. So I never use the word owner financing. I just use the term terms. So that's what I would recommend. And the way I would explain to the seller what the terms is that, hey, Mr. Seller, we just talked about option number 4 for the cash offer, and that didn't work for you because you told me it was way too much money had to come up out of your own pocket. The other option I could do is if I could do this option where I could buy your house for your loan value, okay, and start making the monthly payments for you month after month, and help you move with the next chapter of your life, would that work for you? Okay, so the terms is basically some type of owner financing that I'm going to negotiate. If I'm going to buy their home subject to its existing mortgage, or if they own it free and clear, I'm going to do some kind of note. So basically, depends on the situation. If they own the house free and clear, if they have high equity, if they have marginal equity, if they have no equity, whatever the situation may be, I will structure the term differently. So option number 6, the offer number 6 in the superhero closing is the terms, where I bring the opportunity with the terms. Like, for example, hey, Mr. Seller, I could buy your house for your loan value. I could pay for your closing, pay for your move and help you with the next chapter of your life. And the way it would work is when we go to closing, I step into your shoes and I start making the monthly payments month after month. If I could do that, would that work for you? And the seller would tell me, hey, well, yeah, this may work, or hey, this will not work, etc. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm going through all the options the seller has and adding value to his life, the positive and cons, and he's brainstorming out loud with me which option he doesn't want, okay? So now, after the 6th option, the 7th option is, I explained to the seller that, hey, for example, Mr. Seller, if you're moving to, let's say, from Dallas to California, and you're going to have double payments, if that's the seller's motivated situation, help him realize that how's he going to pay that house payments? If he doesn't, it's going to go to foreclosure. So the next option is 7th, which is the foreclosure option. Foreclosure, I explained to the seller that, for example, if they don't make a decision, for example, if the house is behind on payments, they haven't made payment, that the house is going to go to foreclosure. And then I explain to them the benefits of that, if there is any, and then the negative side of that, like it messes up their credit, they're not going to be able to get insurance, it's going to be a lot higher, all this little stuff in their life is going to be a lot more expensive. And then option number 8 is that, if they're in a situation where they have negative equity or they're behind on payments, then I explain to them that, hey, bankruptcy is an option for them too. And theoretically, the way I teach you and coach you is that you should have 2 briefcases. You have the real estate investor briefcase, where you have the terms, cash, short sell, etc. in this briefcase. But then you also have the realtor briefcase. And so what I've just done in this briefcase, you have a bunch of different tools. okay? Like normal listings, flat fee MLS, property management, etc. So what I do with the seller is I provide the seller both briefcases, which is all their options 1 through 8, and explain it to them and allow the seller to tell me which one of these options works for him or not. And I don't really care, because the only ones I don't make any money out of is basically foreclosure or them doing a bankruptcy. But if they're going to go to a bankruptcy, then I'll refer them to a bankruptcy attorney, 2 or 3 that they may like, okay, and test them out. So what I do is I provide value for the seller. I help him understand his situation, give him some pros, give him some cons, and I ask him, and I already know because he's telling me through the conversation, which one of these options does he lean against or likes the best. If he tells me, hey, he wants to do flat fee MLS, then I'll just send him to my go-getter real estate agent. If he says that he wants to do rent it out, hey, no problem, I'll send it out to my real estate agent. If he says he wants a cash offer, no problem, I'll take care of that for you. If he says he wants to do terms, no problem, I can take care of it for you. And what happens is that I become a good guy, a superhero because I provide with the seller all the information. What most investors do is they go there with only one briefcase, and more importantly, they're only thinking about themselves and getting the deal. So they're only pressuring the seller one direction. Go with my cash offer, go with my terms, and they're not giving the seller all the options. In reality, you're going to miss a lot of deals because you can't get 9 out of 10 deals. Well, the way I'm explaining and showing you and coaching you is that you should be able to open that cash register and go ding, ding. It doesn't matter if it's 10 cents, if it's $100, or if it's $1,000, or if it's 10,000. You want the cash register to open up and make money. And the way I show you with a superhero closing is that no matter which way the seller goes, 90% of the time you're going to make money. If they want to go with the realtor option, they want to go with the flat fee option, they want to go rent it out, they want to go with the cash offer, they want to go with the term offer, they want to go with a short sale, etc., you're going to make money. The only 2 options you don't make money is the same 2 that I don't make money, is bankruptcy and foreclosure. But I also provide that to the seller so they know all their options, so they don't think like I'm hiding something from them. Because what I like to do is show them my card and let them know what the options are, and let them help them make a decision, okay? I don't want to make a decision for them because it's not a natural thing. I want to allow them to make a decision. I want to be a value guy. I don't want to be a sales guy. And trust me, I've been doing sales since high school. I started selling supplements at a very young age. I started doing personal training, before I left high school, where I went and, sold people in their 30s when I was 18 years old, personal training sessions, $500, $1,200. I've done, hardcore oil sales. So I know what a salesperson is, and I'm a master salesperson. I've been doing this at such a young age, and I'm telling you, the best way to sell is not to sell at all. And I know there's a lot of people out there that has millions of books I had to show you, but I really believe, I've done a lot of those, and I really believe the best way to sell is to add value. And if you add value without trying to sell somebody, you're going to eventually get the sell, because everybody else is trying to sell somebody, okay? And that's not the way I do business. I really try to create a win-win situation, and that's what I preach to my students. If you're able to create a win-win situation where you meet halfway, the seller meets halfway, then everybody's going to be happy, and there's no buyer's remorse. And believe it or not, when you help out sellers like this, if some other investor comes up, or some shady investor, a lot of these good people are going to block those fucking scam investors and say, no, I'm only going to deal with Mike, or I'm going to only deal with you because you build that relationship. So you basically protect your deal a lot better when you actually add value to people's lives. Now, gang, I just told you how I give an offer to a motivated seller. I always give the seller the superhero closing, okay? And then throughout that things, it depends what kind of seller they are. If they're emotional, if they're logical, if they're deadbeat, then I have actual different offers that I shift from. But always start with the general foundation, and then once they decide which one they want to go to, for example, if they want a cash offer and they're logical, then I'll do the logical closing, etc., guys. Or the deadbeat closing if they're behind on payments. So guys, I just shared you my secrets. Go out there and hustle and bustle. Don't take no for an answer, guys. Don't just watch me and then watch Bob and just watch Sam. And I know how it is to have fear. You know, when I lived in my car, I had fear. When I started my first business, I had fear. I always had fear, you know, but I don't even know what to do. A lot of times I have no idea what to do. And what I just do is I just start. So the point of the story is to you is go out there and hustle. You know, if you don't know what to do, fuck it. Just get up and do it. If you don't know how to make phone calls, if you don't have a seller phone script, just fuck it. Just take action, you know, and you're going to fail and you're going to learn from that. You know, just don't keep doing the same exact thing over and over. You know, when you fail, adjust, tweak, adjust, maneuver till you get it right, guys. Guys, if you like these videos, please share, please like, please leave a comment. And don't forget to support me. I have tons of products like the Dojo membership. I got the seller script. I got contracts. I got flyers. So if you like these videos and I'm giving you my trade secrets for totally for free, support me so I could get pumped up and feel like I'm adding value to you guys so I can make more videos. This is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo. Go out there and hustle and bustle and don't take no for an answer. Have a great day.